Hi guys. It is Friday. I think it's Friday. Friday afternoon. It's a beautiful day here in Nova Scotia, where I reside. I thought I would do a little video, and I probably shouldn't keep rocking because that's going to irritate you guys so much. I'm not sure, but I'm thinking it might. Back and forth, back and forth. So I'll try to sit still. You're going to hear little squeaks from the puppies in the background and the wind. It's a beautiful breezy day here. I'm sitting in my front yard, not my backyard, because I have my front yard fenced in so we can let the dogs go out easily. So I thought I would do a little video that is little bits about me. And I first seen this video, Monica did that on her channel. And I thought, what a fantastic idea. You know how I love to talk. Not that I love to talk about me, but I love to share experiences. Because I feel experiences really, really can be beneficial. Because you know what? We all have a story. Every single one of us. We all have a history or a her story. Every single one of us. And it has brought us to the place we are now. And to the person that we are now. Choices, be it good choices, bad choices, and we always have a choice, and we always can change our story at any time, and that is the most fantastic thing of it all. We can change our story anytime we want. Sometimes we change our story, or a story changes for us. And it's not something or the direction that we want to go in, but it happens. And we just have to move forward and accept those changes. Or make something different. Of course, there's going to be some beeping and sirens and all that, and I don't even live in a busy area. I live in an off street in my community, near a beautiful parked area. And to get where I am today was a long story. And it is a long story, but it is my story. Like I said, we all have stories, don't we? And our truths are not necessarily other people's truths because we all see the world differently depending on the maturity of where we are at the time in life. And just the way we see through things. I mean, we've all talked to different people and they tell you something and you're thinking, holy gosh, that sounds a little off. And it's not off for them. I don't think someone is intentionally saying something. Well, sometimes people intentionally do that. But I don't think 100% when people are explaining or talking about their circumstances, that is an intentional inaccuracy. It is based on where they are in their life at the time, where the maturity is, how they evaluate life at the time, how much living. Yes, Wally, I'm not throwing that ball. No, I'm not. I'm not throwing balls right now. And our where we are in life at the time. So I was born in Nova Scotia. Oh my God, she's starting at her birth. Holy God. Anyway, I'll speed her up. I was born in Nova Scotia, actually on Cape Breton Island in a small community close to Glace Bay. My parents were from there. My dad's side of the family came from Scotland and Ireland, immigration, and a long history of miners, coal miners at that. My mom's side of the family came from Scotland and Belgium, immigration. My grandfather came over from Belgium, met my grandmother. And so that's their side of the family. He started his own business. I think he came originally for mining. I think a lot of people came to Cape Breton Island for the mining. You know, coal miner's daughter. They came for the mining, and he ended up building a very successful construction and concrete foundation business, to which his sons have taken on at this point in their lives. And my parents were young when they conceived me. They ended up getting married because of that fact, and ended up moving to the community that I reside in right now. I went to school here. We moved back and forth to Cape Breton different times during various family circumstances, which involved mental health, parental struggles, hospitalizations, sicknesses, and addictions, and things like that. And I'm not going to get into all that. But I will say that everything that I've endured and experienced throughout my life brought me to where I am and the direction that I ended up going in life. And when it comes to mental health and addictions, not only is it genetic, circumstantial, and environmental, and we have a lot in the family. Us kids very much have experienced those things, and we've all taken on different roads and paths and experiences and made different choices in life. I was very, very self-conscious, introverted, shy individual, made high school life very, very challenging. I was the nobody. I was the shadow that walked the halls. And I quit high school a couple of times in grade 11. I did not go back and get my grade 12 until I was older in life. And that's okay. I did what I did. And when I knew better, I did better. And so basically I started out just working at retail jobs. I worked at retail jobs, various jobs, Kmart, grocery stores, Sears Portrait Studio. I did some CCA work, personal care work, and that sort of thing. I never had a serious relationship until I met my husband. Met him, very, very codependent situation. I did not have the confidence that I needed. I just didn't think much of myself, and I thought, well, that's where I needed to stay, because who else would want me, right? So because of that codependent situation and a very severe and persistent mental illness on his part and illness on my part, it didn't work. It didn't work. I have two beautiful children, my daughter and my son, 10 years apart. And I would say, like many, many of us who have children, who have raised children, there's a lot of regret in many areas based on my circumstances. I don't think my dogs are running around playing that I dealt with stress very well. Didn't have a really good coping skills regarding stress. Because I didn't have the confidence to make those changes in my life that I should have made, that would have made my life so much stressful in one way, but not as stressful in another way, I knew I was going to be the breadwinner or the main income based on my husband's illness, and I held a lot of resentment to that. I was tired, I was exhausted, I was expecting things from him that either he didn't want to give, and that is his choice, or couldn't give, or whatever. Everybody has the right to live their life the way they want. And my viewpoint was I had expectations that he should have had the house clean and this and that, and It shouldn't be disaster when I come home and all those sorts of things. So I stressed with that for a long time. I tried to accept it, but it just ate at me when I was gone all day or all night, depending on the work schedule I had. And trying to maintain in my mind what I thought a household should be like, all those perceptions that don't have to be, but ended up being that way. And we all have our things to carry and bear, and mine is, that I really should have made a different choice if I couldn't deal with the circumstances of my relationship and what that brought with it, and all that brought with it, which was a lot of different bouts of illness and different things that come along with that. And that illness I'm talking about is schizophrenia. And so my depression and anxiety and things were really, really bad. And so the whole mixture of all that was not good for any kid to live in. And so we separated several times, but due to a lot of different reasons, financial, codependency, confidence, all those things, religious reasons, till death do us part, you must stay together, all those things brought me back to that situation that was not healthy for me or for him or for my kids. Anywho, let's move forward. The situation ended up ending, and I continued to work, and I ended up going back to school, getting my grade 12, and going into schooling and taking a program that led me into the work of mental health support worker. Within that environment, I also did a lot of volunteer work, and was promoted several times, and then I was a team leader for a couple of different programs, several actually, and I loved that job. I loved it. That job was part of my identity. We have an identity as a mom, as a partner, as a reborn artist, or whatever. We create identities for ourselves, and that's how we represent ourselves. That's how we talk to others, and that's how we feel, builds confidence a lot of times. And so, unfortunately, that position did not, I worked there for 14 years, but due to an environmental change in that position, it was not good for my mental health. I personally felt, and I know many others did, that the environment that I was in to support individuals with severe illness was not safe. Even though it was temporary, it was still not safe. I felt insecure, didn't feel supported, and I ended up going on a leave, which ended up being being off permanently, because the job position would not, or did not, find a different area within that work position for me to work. I had to go back to the exact same position, the exact same environment. Even though it was temporary, there was no other place, supposedly, for me to go until their new location was completed. Because of that, I had to make a choice, and I made the choice for myself. I chose myself. I chose myself. Because if I didn't, my goodness, I wouldn't be a very good support worker, where I wasn't when I left. It'd be no good. The circumstances would have got poor, and worse and worse. So I probably would have ended up in the hospital. Who knows? So that was a loss. Not only was it a big loss with the work and staying at home, it was a loss of my identity, right? I had a loss of my marriage prior to that, which also is an identity, you know. I had a loss with my belief system. My belief system changed. You know, I was very, very spiritual, religious, spiritual for a very long time. My life was directed by those beliefs, and it didn't work for me. It works for many people, but it didn't work for me. I had to choose myself. I had to make sure I was healthy, and that's what I did. I didn't know I was going to talk about all this. Anyway, speeding it up. Met Trevor, still without work, and I only had, I think, like $30,000 or $33,000 in retirement RRSP, because I didn't get that until later on. And that's kind of how I tried to live, which is very difficult when you have a mortgage and house and all those things, right? I ended up doing several things to make those things work, which was I bought a trailer to live in, and I rented out my house. Then I sold the trailer, and then I had my house also. These are different time frames. It's not exactly in this time frame. Had an Airbnb in my house. I rented out rooms in my house. I did some online work. I still do online work. And that's what I've done. And I think it kind of brings me up to where we are. Trevor and I coexist together and support each other and help both financially, which I never really had before, because I was the financial person. Here we have both of us, which makes all the world of a difference, you know, huge difference. It's hard to let go of that, some of that, like, I don't want to say control, but the decision making. And it's hard. It has been a challenge, and sometimes it continues to be a challenge, but it is what it is, you know. So currently we still make our finances are done online. Oh yeah, I had an online delivery service for a little while. That was fun for a little while, but I don't like picking up liquor and weed and all that kind of stuff and delivering it to people. No, didn't like it. Anyhow, sell things online, and Trevor sells things online, and that's what we do. And now I have my beautiful reborn babies, which is a hobby, and sometimes I sell them because I love doing that. I have you wonderful people to talk to. You know, I feel like when I look out there that I'm talking to one person, but I know I'm talking to a bunch of people because my video will be watched by several different people, and that's okay. But my strong passion that I had to have for mental health is not to the extreme that it used to be. I let it go. I don't need to have or seek out that type of work. I don't need to do anything surrounding that, but I'm willing to share my story anytime if I know it's helpful or beneficial to anybody else out there. And I did that, you know. I went to some support groups. I actually, I'm laughing at the dogs. I actually, no, Wally, no. Oh, no. Okay, going. I actually ran some support groups, and I love doing that because you know what? we all struggle in different ways. We all have different stories, and it's so good if someone can get a little bit of something out of what you say. You know, take what they like, take what works for them, just leave everything else. And you don't have to direct your life the way someone else does. You direct your life the way it works for you, feels good for you, based on your life, your perception, your experiences in life. And life is a challenge. We grow and we change over time, and who knows what the future holds, you know? But I think the main ideas that I love to keep in my mind is there's always good in something. So you look for the good. There's always good in something. You take each day as it comes, one day at a time, as my dad would always say. And you have a choice. You can always make a different choice. We have responsibilities, of course, but we can change them. We can lessen them. We can lessen them. Is that a word? We can do whatever we need to do that helps our mental health. And see, that is the most important thing for me, is my mental health. And because I know I spent most of my life living in a poor mental health state. And so it is my priority. It's not my priority to work that way, but it is my priority for my life. If you're still watching, thank you for listening to me ramble on. I haven't done any painting. No, not painting. I'm still rooting a doll, which I'm going to finish up. Candy Lee. Probably put her on my website. I just never ever thought I would be where I am now. I never ever thought I would have the time on a Friday afternoon to sit outside under a tree with two beautiful puppies that I adore. I love dogs. And in our own place, in my own place, content, not stressed. I mean, go to bed and go to sleep. No tossing and turning. No worries. No hamster wheel going on my mind, trying to figure out this or replaying that. None of that. And no matter what, I've thought about it a little bit, and no matter what, I'm not going to the rat race anymore. Even if something comes up that I need to make more than what I'm making, I will sell what I need to do. I will even sell this house if I need to. Because I'm done with the rat race. I'm done with the stress that comes with it. And I like van life. I watch a lot of van life. So there's always alternatives for life. I know myself and most of you guys out there that are my age and up grew up with the perception that you grow up, maybe you go to university, maybe you don't. That wasn't put on me. You get a job, you marry, hopefully marry someone that's going to care for you. You have your children, you have a house, you do all that, you grow old, you have grandkids, and yada yada. Well, life circumstances didn't play out like that for me, and a lot of times it does not play out like that. It's another saying my dad used to say, life is what you make it. That's true. I love all those slogans from programs, what is it called? Anonymous programs. I love those slogans. They're so beneficial. They really, really are. So once again, guys, that's a little bit about me. Me me. I'd love to hear about you. You and you. I never would have talked about anything like this until I went to community college. And as part of our program, we had to get up and we had to talk about our lives. And if we didn't dig deep and talk about our life in a deep, meaningful way, how in the world could we help others? How could we go into the helping field if we didn't understand our own lives, where we came from, and our circumstances? So I remember doing that. I was terrified to do it. My mouth was dry. I know my face was 50 million shades of purple. I was scared shitless. I made it quick. But it was such a relief to put it out there. The things that I hid from, the things that I didn't want anybody to know, were out there. And when I did that, it became easier and easier. And when I heard other people sharing their life, their experiences, it helped me. And another thing Dad would always say is, by helping others, it helps me. And he meant by sharing his experiences, his stories, his life, it helped him and it also helped others. So maybe give it a shot. You never know. All right, guys, thanks for listening. Have yourself a fantastic Friday and weekend. And I really enjoyed sitting out here talking to you guys. Bye.